Welcome back to our series of DevLogs for Phantom Line, a first-person co-op shooter where you are a special operator who hunts down horrifying anomalies who broke out on day one of nuclear war. My name is Chris, and I am the creative director for Phantom Line. If you're new here, I recommend checking out our previous devlog, where we discussed rebuilding the player system from the ground up. Phantom Line is first and foremost designed as a co-op experience. We believe that the most fun comes from playing with friends, and we want to capture that feeling of sitting together on the couch. But life quickly gets in the way. Jobs, kids, questionable life choices. You will not always have 4 players online. So the question became, how do you design a game that feels just as engaging solo as it does with a full squad? When we started thinking about this problem in Phantom Line, it was important to us that you still have the same strategic depth, regardless of player count. And our solution became Husks, allowing you to control multiple artificial bodies at a time and switch between them at will. Husks are deeply rooted in our lore. The Husk program, short for Human Uplink Simulation Kernel, was developed by global megacorp Mortfield Industries in the 20th century. It is one of Mortfield's most successful programs, merging research from the CIA's MKUltra project, DNA manipulation, and groundbreaking advancements in. Husks are artificially grown bodies, grown in bioreactors. Biologically, they're indistinguishable from humans, but they can be augmented beyond natural limitations. For example, giving them super strength or reinforced skin, depending on mission requirements. However, the true value of the Husk program is not in the Husks themselves, but rather the operators. Mortfield recruits experts, veterans, and leaders with irreplaceable expertise, training, and strategic insight. Individuals who have been sidelined, injured, or forgotten, and now get a second chance to save humanity. Over time, the program matured, and even leadership and critical personnel in military, energy, communication, and other critical divisions have been transferred into Husks, ensuring the continued operations of Mortfield Industries. Today, Mortfield has large fleets of Husks and operators, primarily deployed in elite task forces for high-risk missions against anomalies, unpredictable, supernatural threats hidden from the public that endanger all of humanity. In Phantom Line, you play as one of these operators. You can control up to 2 Husks at a time, switching between them at will. Combined with the augmentations, a feature we will work on in the future as a part of progression, you'll be able to create different builds and loadouts, so choosing which Husk to bring will become an important strategic decision. The system scales depending on how many players you are. With 4 players, everyone controls their own Husk. With 2 players, you each get 1 additional Husk. If someone joins mid-game, they simply take over one of the extra Husks. Of course, when playing solo, you control 2 Husks. Anything beyond that quickly becomes too complex. While you actively play as one of the Husks, a simple AI controls the other. We've received a lot of feedback that the AI feels unintelligent, often gets in the way, has the tactical awareness of a golden retriever in a revolving door, and makes the Husks pointless. In the last playtest, we had to disable multiple features of the AI, which made the issue even more noticeable. Because this is a mechanic we have not tried in many other games, we wanted to begin testing early. The current AI is just a proof of concept, and we're now exploring rewriting it from scratch to better align with our vision. We've also noticed a common misconception in previous playtests. Many people think that only the additional body is the Husk. In reality, both bodies are Husks. We recognize that this can be confusing, so we hope that the recent UI changes have made the system more intuitive. Immersion is one of our core pillars. We want every aspect of Phantom Line to feel grounded in our world, including the UI and heads-up display. But that creates an interesting challenge. How do we present essential gameplay information, such as the hotbar, ammo, and health, without breaking the immersion of being an elite operator? We call the solution the Mortfield Operating System, or MOS for short. In our lore, Moss is the interface through which your consciousness controls the Husk. Inspired by high-pressure environments like fighter jet HUDs, we are focusing on clean, efficient elements that don't feel overwhelming under stress. Since our playtest last year, we've rewritten and added several new mechanics that require UI support. Figuring out where to display each piece of information in a way that is intuitive and consistent is a long process. So what you're seeing today is just a skeleton to start collecting feedback, which we will continue to iterate on before the final UI. Phantom Line is a complicated game with many mechanics, which puts a lot of pressure on a clear and uniform visual language that requires a careful balance between clarity and immersion. We're aiming to create a functional UI that is grounded in the lore but not overly gamey, has the feeling of a realistic, high-tech system but not looking like sci-fi, with just enough flavor to give it identity without compromising on focus or decision-making. Recently, we added many things to the UI to immerse you in the Moss. One of the first things you'll notice now is the new boot up screen. Inspired by old DOS interfaces, it features a scrolling terminal, ASCII-style visuals, and clues into our lore. As the player's first interaction with the game, we believe it sets the tone for the Husks very nicely. As with the rest of the UI, this is still an early version and may develop over time. We'd love to hear your feedback. Another feature designed to enhance immersion is the slight curvature of the HUD. Using a shader applied to the entire HUD widget, it creates this unique impression of viewing the world through the Husk's eyes. We experimented with different intensities before settling on the current version, but this is something we are still exploring. Oh, almost forgot. When you die, you'll recognize the blue screen of death. We think that this is a really fun feature that plays nicely into our lore with the MOS, transferred consciousness, and how Husks are just artificial bodies. We'll cover the rest of the UI as we talk about other systems in future devlogs. Hopefully, this has given you a clearer understanding of how Husks work, both as a gameplay mechanic and as a core part of the Phantom Line's lore. Thanks again for the amazing response we have gotten on this series. We are super excited about continuing to make devlogs, so make sure to follow us and join our Discord so that you don't miss the next episodes. Stay frosty. Chris out.